Hello everyone and welcome to our Just Make It program. Today, in the spirit of spring, our activity is making gardens. In this video, I will show you a few ideas for a base, flowers, and bugs. As always, the idea here is to be creative and most importantly, to have fun. For the base of your garden, you can use paper, a cardboard box, even a cup. Here are the materials I had at my house: paper, markers, scissors, glue, and tape. Because I had a lot of paper at my house, I decided to go with a paper pocket base, which will allow me to plant and even rearrange my flowers and vegetables. I used blue paper for my sky and brown paper for the soil. I placed the brown paper where I wanted it on the blue, flipped over the papers, so that I could measure where I needed the brown paper to end. I gave it just a little bit more space than I needed, and then started cutting. As you can see here, I'm folding a small portion of the brown paper over to create a flap. This is the start of our pocket for our garden. So we're just going to glue that flap of brown paper down onto the blue paper. Next, I flipped the paper over to glue the sides of the brown paper down, as you can see on each side here. Just a little strip of glue. And then again on the other side. This will create a pocket where our flowers and vegetables can go that we're going to make later on in the video. So this is one type of base you can use, and you can add any kind of detail you'd like: some birds, a sun, some clouds. If you don't have a lot of paper at home, instead you could use a cup, or you could use a cardboard box with holes poked in it. Now that your base is done, here are some materials you might use for the different flowers I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you different types of flowers that you can use, because it will vary as to what materials you'll have at home. So just use your imagination, try different materials and designs to see what you can make. I use these white sticks, but you could use a pencil or a craft stick for the base of your flower. So for our first flower, you're going to want to choose whichever color of paper you'd like the flower to be. As I did here, I chose pink, and now I'm just sketching a shape onto that paper and cutting it out. You can choose to leave your flower just like this and tape it onto the craft stick, or you can fold it back and forth to create an accordion pattern. So now that I'm done folding that paper back and forth, I'm going to cut a couple of slits. So now that I have the accordion pattern, I'm going to cut a little X in two of the folds here, as you can see. And this will just give us a spot for our craft stick to go. If you need help using scissors for this part, just ask an adult. We don't want anybody to get hurt. So next will be to add some leaves. So you can see I'm just cutting out some green leaves from this paper, and then I'm just going to tape them onto the stick, like so. For the next flower, I used baking cups, which you could use as is, as a full circle, or you could opt to fold them like I did. After playing with the placement of the baking cups, I chose to fold them a few times over. So here I'm just playing with the placement of my baking cups, see if I want them as petals or individual flowers. Once I found a placement that I liked, I just used tape to secure the baking cups to the stick. Next, I started filling in the baking cups with a washable marker. In this case, I chose blue. For this flower, I opted to use a plastic water bottle. So I'm just gonna cut the bottom off here. Now, plastic can be harder to cut, so if you need help, just ask an adult. So you can use permanent markers here to add color, or you can use some paint. I chose to use paint. Either way though, you're just going to fill in the water bottle until it looks the way you want. This is going to need a minute to dry, so I'm just going to push it to the side and we can start working on creating a carrot. So I'm just sketching in a rough shape of carrot on orange paper and then working on the fuzzy green top of the carrot as well. Once you're done cutting out the little green strips, you can stick them onto the carrot using some glue. Can you think of any other vegetables you might want to make for your garden? So now that my carrot's done, I'm just adding it to our garden with the rest of our flowers. Now the paint should be dry for this flower, so I'm going to just see where I would like the flower to sit on the craft stick. And I'm going to cut a slit out of the plastic. And this will give our craft stick a place to rest. So I'm just going to use some tape to stick the plastic to the craft stick. What type of flowers do you think you want to add to your garden? Can you think of other materials you have at your house that you might want to use? Now let's add some bugs to the garden. Depending on what you have at your house, you can use clothespins like I did, or you can add your bugs directly to the paper with tape or glue. So here I'm just making a leaf out of green paper and a marker, which I'm going to tape onto my clothespin, and that's going to be the base for my caterpillar. So I'm going to tape, or you could glue, pom-poms to the leaf to make a caterpillar, like so. Next, I'm going to try and make a ladybug. So I'm just tracing my paint bottle for a nice circle. You can freehand one, or you could find another object to trace. I didn't have any black paper at my house to finish off the ladybug, so I went with white, thinking that I could color it in. So I added another circle for the ladybug's head, just gluing it onto the body. Next, I started making some antennae for my ladybug, as you can see here. And the next step here is to color it in with a black marker. So I colored in the antenna, the head, and the spots. What bugs will you choose to put in your garden? Can you name some? This is what my garden looked like with the materials I was able to find at my house. I challenge you to see what kind of garden you can make with what you have at home. Thanks for watching!